Okay, we are live, yay. This is a PZK meeting on 29th of July. Thank you guys for coming, I appreciate it. Basically what we're looking at accomplishing today is getting some ideas going for the projects we'll be working on this fall. And also kind of gauging interest on the leadership conference in September, which I have to give my final confirmation by the 21st of August. For those of you who don't know about the Leadership Conference, it's an event in Columbiana where we go there and there's a bunch of physical challenge type stuff, climbing walls, canoeing, outdoor activities, but then we also do a bunch of learning events, learning seminars, which are very useful, and it's good for kind of making friends and connections within the region, because you meet people from the Alabama region as well, from other chapters. But I'll get to that at the end. First and foremost, we need to take a look at our Honors in Action project. I'm actually going to do a screen share if it'll let me. There we go. I think that worked. I hope it worked. Anyway, let's see. So I don't know how well you can see this, but this is kind of a mountain picture that they have here with the Honors in Action project, and the base camp, in essence, for the mountain is the kind of settling on a topic. And I'm going to send, for those of you watching online, I'm going to send out a copy of the Honors in Action booklet with the 9 topics in there. And what I'd like to do, probably by the second week of school, have us decide on a topic so we can begin doing research. Now, those of us who want to be on the officer team, it's going to be kind of your job to get members to do some research. Because once we settle on a topic, when we get into the research, I will create kind of a discussion board of research articles. And if we have good participation from the membership, that means if you have 10 people doing 1 article each, it's a lot easier than 2 people having to find and do 5 articles each. So the process that we're going to go through is today, investigate and analyze is where we're going to be. I'm going to send out the Honors in Action topic to all the members with the hopes of the second week of school developing a research question. At the same meeting where we develop a research question, we'll decide on a plan of action, and then we'll get started with our research. The steps up to the finish line we'll continue working on throughout the semester. Probably we'll have a work day about once a month. Now that we're on a 4-day schedule, I generally like to have the work days on Fridays if possible, just because nobody has to worry about their class schedule. I know lots of people have work, so I can expect that we are going to have some people who have to miss because of work. And then at our work days, that's when we're going to do the research, decide on what campus events we may do, what actions we're going to take, and create a focus. But for now, for the Honors in Action, I want you guys between now, really the start of school, take a look at the booklet. I know I'm talking to both you and people who are watching this online, and kind of look at what you think is interesting. And then our first meeting of the term, we'll kind of have a discussion or debate about the pros and cons of each, and then I'll probably create like a Survey Monkey survey on which one we want to do, and we'll vote on it as a chapter. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda, let me be a good teacher here. Do you guys have any questions about the Honors in Action? What the heck is this thing? You know, what are my expectations? All that sort of stuff. Okay, good question. Honors in Action is a project that PTK does. You combine research and then community involvement. both the campus community and the community at large. The idea here basically is to research something outside your schoolwork in order to be, I don't know, a better citizen, a better student, all those sorts of things. For example, in the past, this chapter, this is before Carley's Law was passed in Alabama, making CBD at least partially legal in Alabama for study. Cannabinoid oil. It's an oil extracted from marijuana, but it doesn't have any mind-altering or body-altering categories, but properties. So what we did is we researched it and not only prepared a report on it, but we did like presentation in the student center, like at a lunch meeting, like a meet and greet. But also they wrote to both their state representative and state senator, sharing the findings that we had on this and encouraging these public servants to consider the law in the next legislative session. So we had a local involvement where we educated students on the topic, and then we took action, honors in action, trying to get some work done. I like to think that particular project actually had some influence on getting it passed in the state. So really, it's what the chapter decides on, really. And we have transformations is the theme of this topic, but it really gives you enough subtopics where you can, as a chapter, really decide what's interesting to us. I know when I was a student, I often said, you know, I'd really like to be able to study something I'm interested in, I want to study. And this is really a good opportunity to do just that. So think of it as kind of a pyramid where we start with our research, start locally with the PTK chapter in terms of discovering stuff on our own. We create a focus, share that focus with the student body, and then some sort of global or more than localized outreach with the Honors in Action project. And there's a lot of things that we can do with this. You're really limited only by your imagination. And at the first meeting of the semester after school starts, there are some chapters that have posted videos on what they've done with their Honors in Action, and we'll look at those at the meeting. First thing we got to do, of course, is find a meeting time that works for more people. Other questions about the Honors in Action? Okay, I'm sure they're going to come up, and if you're watching this online and you have questions about the Honors in Action, please let me know. The next item on the agenda is the college project. Now, we talked about this at convention last year, and I'm really interested in working on soft skills. And this is the idea that I had for our college project that we kind of developed. Most of the folks that went to convention graduated, but some are still with us. At convention, we have a couple of formal meals. And a lot of students had never seen more than one fork before at, at the plate. And it got us to thinking that, working on soft skills in terms of etiquette might be a good college project. And so here's the idea. And the reason I say the idea, because we generally speaking have to work with the local administration, which would be David Jones, who's on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays. Where we asked for their input on our idea. But in terms of soft skills, this was the plan. Have one local presentation on interviewing skills. And if we can bring in somebody who's an expert, like a human resource person or something like that, it would be great. And the second one was stuff about filling out college applications. How do you find scholarships? What do I have to put on an application? How do I write a cover letter or a letter of purpose? And that could involve people we have locally on this campus. Ms. McCreary is great at the transfer stuff. I can talk about how to write a cover letter, and Ms. Burkett could discuss scholarship stuff. So, and then we would finish the semester with kind of a reward for PTK members who participated and do an etiquette dinner in the student center, where we get some sort of catering and have somebody who knows all the ins and outs of doing a formal dinner walk us through all the stuff, and do it at Christmas time. We can have a Christmas theme as kind of a nice bow on the semester. So that's kind of the outline plan for the college project that we discussed at convention. Now we can add to it or even subtract based on administrative feedback. But what we are going to need once the semester starts is for students to meet with Mr. Jones and ask if there's anything that he would like us to see or like us to do from their side. So the college project is like the Honors in Action, but instead of starting locally and moving globally, we're focusing on our campus, not just PTK students, but also doing something that's beneficial to outside students. And the etiquette dinner could be welcome to anybody who wants to come, not just PTK members. But if you're not a member, you'd have to probably pay a small fee to go to the dinner. And who knows, maybe we could work with SGA and have a dance afterwards or something like that, because they did have some dances in the spring. So there's possibilities there to expand. Questions on the college project? Okay. Fall fundraisers. I haven't seen my budget yet. But there are some things we do have to consider. International Convention is in Dallas. Having just driven to Dallas over the last weekend, it's not an exceedingly long drive to take the bus, the coastal bus, but it'd be better to fly. So in addition to that, convention fees are close to $400 a person. So even if the administration does give us the same budget we had last year, for example, we're still going to probably need fundraisers to, I don't know, meet travel expenses or meet maybe a little bit of meal expenses. Another thing we could consider, the Monroeville chapter does like a commitment contract where you say, okay, I'm going to commit to flying. This is how much it's going to cost. And I'll pay $20 a month or $25 a month or $25 every 2 weeks or whatever it is between now and convention in order to pay off flying. Because most of us can manage, 20, 30 bucks a month or every other week. But a lot of us can't write a check for $400 or $500 at a time. So I get that. But it's definitely stuff to consider and think about. So I've always had success with Krispy Kreme. What's that? It's Krispy Kreme. Yeah, it does sell, and we tend to not have too many leftovers. So one thing we would have to consider is when to do it. Are we going to do it multiple times throughout the semester? Let's get input from you guys. What do you think in terms of how many times we could do it? Or how many times would you want to do it over the course of the semester? One's going to be a given, but yeah.
Like most of the kids in the dorms too. may or may not have a job while they're up here.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are on like a really tight budget, so they might be able to afford it the first time. They're not going to try to buy it again.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of people bought from us last year.
So maybe, usually the last day of school before a holiday weekend or something significant in the calendar is good because a lot of people are going to be on campus. The Thursdays before finals start, Thursday before Thanksgiving, somebody's going out of town for Thanksgiving that, bring some snacks with them. Yeah, I think 1 is probably going to be the way to go on that. I didn't put on the agenda, but I do want to talk about provisional memberships. What we're going to be instituting this year, because honors has transformed into the ambassador program, I want to make sure that we still have that kind of influx of new members. And the way that I want to do that is through provisional memberships. Now, we used to do it with honors just being a provisional member because you're in honors. The way that we're going to do it now is we're going to open it up to all students. And for, say, a $10 to $15 deposit, which is part of the $85 membership fee, you basically sign a contract saying, I intend to get a 3.5. I will have 12 units. And if they don't make it, you either lose the deposit or it's held over to the next semester and goes toward your membership fees. So the idea there is to try and keep, as many people interested in coming in as possible. So I want ideas from y'all about how we can do provisional members in terms of getting signups. You guys have all been here for a year. What type of event, barbecue, bake sale, what kind of event on campus do you think we can do to get some provisional members to sign up and get involved? Ice cream social. We have a freezer.
So yeah, something with like free food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza party, maybe.
Maybe have games. Like just have like a day with they have like the system in the student center and just like bring like my brother plays like a lot of people I know they play like that Nintendo Smash Brothers or whatever it is. And like have a tournament or something.
I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. I know all about Smash Brothers. More than I want to know. Okay.
You get the kids that are a lot less likely to step out and say something to come out and join PGK.
Okay.
Faster.
So
like that, and you could do that and like barbecue plates one day or something like that. We're not talking expensive, like something to do really easy that will draw attention.
Well, we could probably do a pizza party. I like the idea of the gaming day.
And like if you do like a gaming day, we could have like a bake sale on the side there. Like have some baked goods.
I think really with the gaming day, the sky's the limit with that. Yeah. Like you can do
like you can add anything.
Like you could do, you can do like a gaming tournament and you'll get those kids there, and you can do just say, I don't know if it's hard for the tournament or not, but we can just do like free pizza if you join the tournament or something like that, and have a bake sale on the side if they want to get like cookies or something like that.
Well, and you could say if you don't want something from the bake sale, pay $2 to join the tournament or whatever. Because really, we're trying to break even to get some people to sign up for provisional membership. Okay, well, I can start the ball rolling on that. We probably want more than the one TV that's in there. So
I have a TV at my house that connects to HDMI.
Okay.
I would just have to have a dude lift it. My mom says I'm not allowed to. if we do pizza, if you order it online, you can get like a medium pizza for $5, and that's 8 pieces. So if you sell them for $1 each, that's a profit.
Well, and also because we're with a school, we don't pay sales tax. So, yeah, and we can get somebody to go pick up, Pizza Hut's right down the street. So, okay, so I like that idea, provisional membership.
Another thing we can do is just not only the gaming tournament, but like when school starts back, we can just do like a meet and greet. Like pick a day at some point, like the first month of school.
Let me talk to Dr. Moore about that, because SGA usually does like the kickoff barbecue thing. And we could just have more involvement. We always have a table set up there, but we could have more involvement, like, I don't know, like little party favor things that are inexpensive, but you can like fill them with candy, have a tag, tie a tag onto them that has, PTK in a nutshell.
We could have, like they always have like the 4-year college people sit in the hallway. We could set a table right there and just like have us stand there and like give out cookies or like pins or something, and just be like, "What's up? You need to hang out with us."
I like all these ideas. Which I can, between now and the first week of school, I can talk about talk to people about the logistics of all this stuff. Okay, well, good. I like the pizza party with the bake sale there as well. With
we can always do like a raffle or something. Like it's like, oh look, enter.
Actually, we can't.
Can't do that.
We can't do a raffle in the state of Alabama. Yeah.
That's really weird.
I wish we could, but it's technically gambling. So, and yes, I know we have casinos here, but they're not technically in the state of Alabama. They're on federal ground, semi-autonomous nation states. Yeah, the Creek is it. They're technically their own semi-autonomous nation. It's kind of like Puerto Rico. It's part of the United States, but they have a lot of their own government. Yeah, it seems like there's always some sort of tribal election going on. Every time I pass a casino, I see signs for elect so and so for.
Dude, like there's like 50,000 signs from here to Porch, because that's what my friend's car is like. She doesn't have right now, so that's where I was. I drove to Porch to pick her up, dropped her off in Century where we work, and then drove here.
Well, thank you. Somebody who just did a bunch of driving over the weekend, I can certainly appreciate how much of a pain in the butt.
I never stopped driving.
Okay, so let me just review the stuff that we went over today. Honors in Action, if you're watching the video, I'm going to be sending out the different focuses, not foci, that we can look at as a chapter. Because our first meeting, I'd really like to be able to go over the ones we're interested in, create a survey, do a vote, and get started on our research. College project, I'm going to ask for volunteers when I send out this video for people to meet with Mr. Jones and go over our ideas of a soft skills college project. Fall fundraiser, we'll do Krispy Kreme. We'll figure out which date we want to do. As I mentioned before, it's usually best to do it before a holiday of some sort. Maybe, when's Veterans Day this year?
Like somewhere between Halloween and
yeah, I think Veterans Day would be perfect, I think. Join us.
I will wear a costume.
Well, you know what? PCK can sponsor like a costume contest on the last day of school before.
Let's do it.
Actually, it would be a Thursday. Halloween's on a Thursday this year. Okay, so Veterans Day is on a Monday. So maybe the 7th of November might be a good day for Krispy Kreme. Because I assume you guys aren't going to be on campus. I know.
I'm 22 today.
Well, happy birthday. So we'll tentatively look at the 7th for delivery of Krispy Kreme right before the Veterans Day weekend. Leadership conference, if you'd like to go, it's in Columbiana in September. When's the, I'll send out the exact date with the email with this video. But it's in Columbiana. We'll be taking the Monroeville bus. We'll actually be going with the Monroeville chapter because I agreed to do that, and I'm happy to do so. I think they have 5 going, so if we have 5 or 6, we'll be able to fit in a 15-passenger van as long as we don't pack. Yeah. My wife and 2 friends went to the Zumba convention over the weekend, and they took a 7-passenger van, and they had so much luggage that they would have only had room for 4 total passengers.
For like just a weekend thing?
5 days, I guess, 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywho, but if you're watching this, you're interested, please let me know.
I never packed enough. We went on a weekend church conference thingy, and I have like one shirt. I had to go buy one.
I think like, when was it? I slept in the shorts I wore the day before.
See, like, I barely packed anything. I was just, and then Reagan and her sister, they have like these huge suitcases,
Yeah.
and I have like a small little baby backpack.
So just so I can wrap up the video, and we'll plan on a membership drive event to try and get some provisional members, and maybe to hopefully be able to talk to some of the folks that did qualify and get the letter and had questions about PTK. So good. We've got a good plan of action moving forward over the next couple of weeks. And it looks like we can get started on the semester and get going this year. We weren't as successful as we could have been last year, but you know, that happens occasionally. And I think also with the 4-day schedule in the fall, we're going to have a lot more success with being able to meet for like work days and things like that. Because we just have time. It's easier to find a time when we don't have classes to do a work day. So, all right, let me go ahead and shut off the video.